He never intended to swing that door wide. He was merely attempting to regain his composure, flee the clamor, and scrub the oil from his palms before punching out. But when single father Ethan Blake stepped into that office assuming it was a supply closet, and caught her pivoting in surprise, midway fastening her shirt, he halted. And in that fleeting instant, everything shifted. She was the chief executive, the lady every staffer dreaded, the woman no one dared to meet gaze with. But now her gaze fixed on him not with fury but with something different. Welcome back to my channel Kindora Tales. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now, let's plunge into the tale. Ethan Blake was accustomed to fading into the background. He labored the graveyard shift as a repair specialist at Hartwell Industries, a firm that compensated just sufficiently to maintain the electricity, and his daughter Lily in classes. Every day mirrored the last. Punch in, mend what was faulty, dine solo, head home, repeat. His existence was a loop of devotion and fatigue, but he never griped. He surrendered aspirations the evening his spouse departed, abandoning a newborn and a letter. Lily was 6 now, sharp, inquisitive, and the sole motive he persisted. So when the CEO staged a surprise inspection at midnight, the whole crew fretted, everyone except Ethan, who lacked the luxury to fret. He simply aimed to complete the bulb repairs, grab his wages, and depart before dawn. He never envisioned that one errant portal would alter his destiny. Period. He rapped. Silence. He entered. There she stood. Evelyn Hartwell, the youngest leader in the firm's annals. The woman whose title alone could rattle hardened men. She whirled abruptly, eyes bulging, top buttons undone, evidently dressing post a lengthy journey. Ethan spun away at once, palms trembling, stammering regrets. Evelyn didn't shriek. She didn't summon guards. Instead, she murmured softly, "Hold on." Ethan paused. "Folks never bother to knock," she remarked, tone hoarse, yet not hostile. "They simply burst through insisting on favors. You're the initial soul who rapped." He gradually faced her again, at a loss for words. She was buttoned up now, poised, but a flicker in her demeanor wasn't icy. It was weary, mortal. That instant, however brief, shattered the barrier between realms never destined to intersect. The following morning, Ethan braced for guards at his threshold. Instead, an email summoned him to the top level at 9 a.m. From E. Hartwell. Colleagues gawked as he traversed the transparent hallways. The custodian in a bargain tee amid granite and attire. He anticipated shame. Instead, she extended him brew. "I require a viewpoint from the trenches," Evelyn stated evenly. "Not merely figures and graphs. A person who grasps the true sentiments of the ranks below." Ethan couldn't fathom her selection of him, but she made it. She proposed a role no soul in his sphere ever fantasized: executive aide. He possessed no diploma, no background, no self-assurance. But Evelyn had glimpsed a quality in him, one he overlooked in his mirror. Period. He agreed because options were scarce. Lily merited more than fractured earnings and loaned ambitions. Initially, all jeered him. Higher-ups murmured beyond transparent barriers, dubbing him the custodian's favorite. Some plotted to undermine him. Evelyn didn't dismiss them. She merely fortified Ethan. She assigned genuine duties, not charity. She coached him on addressing board sessions, dissecting stats, interpreting influence games without surrendering to dominance. But as they collaborated closely, another element blossomed between them, one no ledger or earnings could quantify. Evelyn had forged her domain solo. No companion, no kin, no vulnerability permitted in her realm. Ethan was the pioneer who regarded her not as a rank, but as an individual. One late evening, isolated in the workspace, she breathed, "Do you ever feel existence just unfolds upon you sans your input?" Ethan inclined his head, vision stinging. Daily. That evening, she resembled no mogul. And he sensed no alien. Then arrived the tempest. Financier spread whispers of Ethan receiving amorous preference. The directors stirred uneasy. Workers gossiped sharper. An individual photocopied snaps of Ethan boarding the elite lift, the CEO's initiative, and affixed them to petitions. Ethan witnessed the fallout. Folks behaved altered toward him. Lily overheard guardians mutter at her academy. He pondered, resigning. "I refuse to tarnish your standing," he informed Evelyn, tone fracturing. You're tarnishing zilch, she countered, stare intense. They crave the ugliest narrative, so they evade the finest. He withdrew. I'm merely a lone parent striving to endure. And I, she confided, am a woman who claimed a firm all-deem she never merited. We're both interlopers, Ethan. Merely in separate chambers. For the inaugural occasion, he perceived her ache, not her authority. Rather than ousting him, Evelyn executed an unforeseen gambit. She convened a complete workforce assembly. Before multitudes, she recounted the narrative firsthand. Indeed, she declared, scanning the assembly, this gentleman was a custodian. And yes, I elevated him not for mercy, but because he was the sole listener. Because he engages folks as true guides ought. If that irks you, perhaps you're the issue. Hush, then cheers, not for her but for him. That evening, Ethan wept for the first time in ages. Seasons elapsed. They crafted fresh guidelines jointly that boosted pay, enhanced labor environments, and launched grants for staff offspring, one earmarked for Lily. One dusk, well after the exodus, Evelyn lingered by the pane surveying the urban glow. You transformed it all, she uttered gently. You realize, he responded. You unlocked the portal. She regarded him. The fellow she once surprised unintentionally, the one who unwittingly viewed her defenses lowered. The one who beheld her and lingered. Perhaps, she murmured. That portal was never an error. Ethan grinned. Not merely as laborer, not as welfare recipient, not as intruder, but as one ultimately perceived. That dusk, the solo parent and the chief didn't discuss ranks, scandals, or positions. They conversed of tunes, youthful recollections, their terrors, their visions. And in a serene interlude, they each grasped the portal hadn't demolished limits. It erected a span. And zilch would ever mirror the prior again.